How confident were you in winning the election before you actually started and before you got into the thick of things?
This what you gotta understand, Vlad TV. I didn't choose myself.
Really? The people chose you.
I can't choose myself. Like, all you have to do is land in my country and go on the ground and feel the pulse. If it was for me, I wouldn't want to be president. I would want to have a president that I can work with. The idea of running for president of Haiti, look up the internet and see what happens when you run for a president of that country.
And what is that?
So from assassination to coup d'etat.
Right.
And it goes on and on. So why would I put myself in the fire? Before I even decided that I was gonna go back to Haiti, one of the first people I sat down with was Harry Belafonte.
Okay.
Cause you gotta understand, I don't really just move. Like, y'all see me and you just see the man moving and the figure moving, and there's so many questions. Like, what would make a man do that?
Right.
When I read a book, when I read Alexander the Great, who conquers the world at a young age, I don't read it because I'm reading a story. I actually believe if you put your mind to it, you can make it happen. But what made Alexander one of the great heroes is not the fact that of his heart, even though he had a strong heart, or Shaka Zulu, or Martin Luther King, or Gandhi. There's always elders to guide you in which way that you're gonna go in. So when I spoke to Harry and I said, yo, I'm planning to go to Haiti, and like he said, well, if you decide that you ain't just gonna sing and dance no more, you better get ready.
Right.
So I used to read about, at times when you don't want to do something, there's a current that pulls you to make you want to do it. So when you say to me, yo, how confident were you when you ran for president? First of all, Vlad TV, I didn't create myself. So my destiny was in the cards before I even decided I was going to run. What you do is you have to ask yourself, how confident were those that took me out of the race? Because they knew that I would win and have to create a law to take me out. And why take me out so fast?
So you're saying, because from what I understand, it had to do with you being a citizen of Haiti, which didn't allow you to actually enter the election. But what you're saying is that law never existed until you actually ran?
So let me talk to Vlad TV, because y'all said a lot of shit on the internet. Let's get into it. First of all, what does the Haitian Constitution says? Y'all don't have a clue. But if I ask you, what is the United States Constitution? You break it down to me from the beginning to the end. I came here at 10 years old. I studied your Constitution. And I've experienced the American dream and believe like this is the greatest country in the world. Then I decide that I'm going to take that dream back to my country. First of all, in my country, the only way you can't be president is if you come to the States or leave any other country, you become a citizen of that country and you basically become, for example, you come to America, you become a U.S. citizen.
Right.
For you to be president of America, you have to be a U.S. citizen.
Well,
you have to be born in the country.
Exactly.
You see me? Born in the country. Correct? Correct?
Correct.
Haiti. Born in Haiti.
Right. 10 years
Came
old.
to the United States.
Okay.
Kept the green card.
For Haiti or the U.S.?
U.S.
So
I'm an American dream. I still got a green card. I'm a green card holder.
So you still have your Haiti passport and everything else?
Yes,
like
sir.
Aha.
So first of all, I still have my Haiti passport. I got my green card. I am the American dream.
Right.
I decided I'm going to take this dream back home. They tell you that I need 5 years residency in order to I have to live in the country for 5 years, correct? But no one says on Vlad TV says, okay, They told him he has to live in the country for 5 years. 5 years prior to that, what was he doing in Haiti? Was he ever in Haiti? Yeah. So no one said, yeah, he was in Haiti. What kind of passport did he have? Oh, he had a diplomatic passport 5 years prior to him running. So if he had a diplomatic passport 5 years prior to him running, why would they give him a diplomatic passport if he is not a citizen of that country? Once again, I do not think that we outside of Haiti understand the laws inside of Haiti. And I think that was used to bamboozle a lot of what happened. And I could have detested, I could have went to court, I could have fought it. But for what? Vlad, if you follow me and you look online, you see stories of like the Ghost of Cité Soleil, the documentary. You see that I've always been there for Haiti in the darkest times. I'm talking about when Aristide was getting ousted out of the country and Cité Soleil was picking over 10,000 to 20,000 guns of kids. This is when I decided, I told, yo, Jerry, let's go. We're going to go to Haiti. We get our little backpacks, ain't no cameras. We go inside of Haiti. So, understand what I'm telling you. At the end of the day, me running was not a Haitian thing. Because the kids from the favelas of Brazil felt like they could be president. In Africa, they felt they could be president. Colombia, they felt like they could be president. Because it just inspired the youth. And it wasn't a matter of me winning. It was a matter of the responsibility and saying, are you just going to sing or dance? Or are you going to actually act on it?
I mean, people have fought, what they felt was unfair election results and so forth. I mean, Dole fought the whole thing with Bush. He eventually, stepped down, but why not fight it in court and try to take it as far as you could take it at that time if you felt that that you were that you should have been allowed to run at that point?
There's two reasons. The first reason that I didn't contest it and push forward towards it was because my country was at the brink of after an earthquake of 250,000 people under rubble. The most important thing for me was to instill government. We needed stable government and moving forward. And the idea of me running, like I said, was not based on me wanting to be president, but more so the urgency. And me going to court and contesting this would have stirred up the youth back in the streets to a form of protest that we did not need at the time. According to my judgment, I didn't want the youth taking the streets. I didn't want to go to court and start making loud noise because my ego would become as so where I have to be the president. Y'all gonna put me in this place. It was bigger than that for me. It was more like the wisest decision was to step down humbly and support the candidate at the time that I felt would be the best candidate and helping move the country forward. Shout out to Pras, shout out to Sean Penn and everybody else who spoke up against me.
How did that make you feel at the time? I mean, especially someone like Pras, who, you could arguably say you and Lauren were the main talents of the group, and you helped him out, I feel, immensely, financially and so forth, from having the affiliation of the Fugees.
Well, the thing is, so at Vlad TV, we put attention on Pras, and we say, man, Pras ain't support you in the election, man. He went up against you. Yo, Sean Penn went up against you. How did you feel about that? Well, I gotta tell you, it did not affect me one bit because it's called politics. And when you into politics, it's a different arena. Now, this is something y'all might not even know, and I'm going to tell you why it didn't affect me. Because I was running against my own uncle. Raymond Joseph was my uncle. And at the time, I was running against my own uncle in a political race because I felt at the time I could be a better president than my uncle.
Sure.
So if my uncle was running up against me at the time, you know, I didn't have time to worry about what Pras or what Sean Penn was thinking. I had one focus and one goal. I wanted to get all the paperwork passed so I could go through the second stage, which did not happen.